I just looked in the mirror to make sure I looked good. Thank God I did. I'm missing an earring. Don't know where it is. Hi. I was scrolling YouTube recently, not 3 hours ago in fact, and I came across a video called Why I Read by Anna Wallace Johnson, one of my very favoriteest YouTubers, and she lit the spark in me, and my heart has been stirred to the point of plagiarism. So here we are, making an identical video, almost exactly the same. In fact, I wish I could have gotten my hair curlier and bigger for you, just to trick you into thinking I was her. There's no way I could have possibly done that. She is unique and magnetic and wonderful in only the way that Anna Wallace Johnson can be. But here I am, and I'm making this as a sort of conversation piece to her. She probably won't watch this, but to her, to myself. I wanted to respond to myself, why do I love reading, and to the book community at large, and to anyone who feels like watching and participating. I stopped her video halfway through and immediately started making my own list, making my own notes, and when I did finish, we had a lot of the same points, but sorry, I have something in my eye. But I think that it's a conversation, right? Like, there are points that she's made, but I think I would word them slightly differently. I have my own experiences to add on to that, and it's kind of fun to talk about because it is so similar, but I do have my own different perspective why I read. So the first reason I read is cultural literacy. I read to be able to connect with the people and the world around me. So many of my friends and family are very literate, educated people, and this not only inspires me to be more literate and educated, but it's so much more fun to talk to people like that when you can also contribute something. One of my best friends is so well read. She's always throwing authors' names out, like, oh, you've read this person, I'm sure you've heard of them, I'm sure you have. Truly have never heard of these people she's talking about. But moments when I can contribute, when she recommends something to me and I read it and we can have a discussion about something that we both read or an author that we both know, it's magical. Like, conversation is so fun when you're culturally literate. And obviously books affect the world, even outside of my small circles of friends and family that love to talk about books. The world at large is affected by books. I mean, just look at our English language. Half of our idioms and phrases are from Shakespeare. I mean, think of the phrase Kafkaesque or Orwellian, a catch-22, or the phrase slowly then all at once, which is attributed to Hemingway. These are just things that have permeated our society because books and literature is so influential. So even if you aren't a part of it, you're affected by it. But when you are a part of it and you do dig into it deeper, you have so much more at your disposal. You're culturally literate. You know what people are talking about. You've heard of that before. And I truly think that I have the most fun and invigorating conversations with people that read. It's so fun to talk to other people that read. The second reason I read is to introduce new thoughts and feelings and ideas into my head. This is kind of the same thing as like education. You read for education, but I think that there's a slight difference. Education feels very factual, and I'm talking about the emotional, the moral, the relational subjects. You can discover so much about the world of people and what's inside of us by reading, and that comes through fiction. I will always say my favorite genre is messed up relationships, messed up dynamics. I think that that is the meat of literature so often, is people like not getting it right. That subject will forever be interesting to me, and I think that it's constantly educating me. Also, opening yourself up to other perspectives, to other kinds of people, to relationships that you've never been a part of before. A mother-daughter relationship that looks so different from my own, but now I'm open to that and I've seen that and I see what it can be like. Fiction can really get into your head in a way that just relaying facts cannot. A great example of this recently, I fell in love with the book Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. Absolutely astonished me in so many ways. I got this crazy different perspective of Appalachia that I have never gotten before. First of all, I would never read a non-fiction book about Appalachia. Never in my life. But a Pulitzer Prize winning fiction novel? Give it here, baby. This was about complicated relationships, this boy and his constant struggle towards trying to make it in this world and be someone, overcoming these challenges that life is throwing at him. Oh, eat that stuff up. And it's in this setting of Appalachia. And now I feel like I have a relationship with that place that I could not have had before. You read about something and now you feel connected to it. You have this intrinsic connection to it, almost as if that character is your friend. I'm not just reading about facts. I'm not reading about the opioid epidemic. It's like I have a friend that went through that, and I know his innermost thoughts. I'm not saying it's perfect about explaining every topic on the world. I'm just saying that there are things that you can get out of fiction that you really can't from nonfiction. Now when someone brings up the opioid epidemic in Appalachia, I have a point of reference that is very much connected to my emotions. So yeah, learning, but learning about new feelings, new thoughts, new relationships, new dynamics, new places, new kinds of people. The world of fiction is endless. It's endless. Okay, the third reason I read is for entertainment. Everyone reads for entertainment, y'all. It's the thing to do. It's fun. It's like watching a movie in your head. It spurs your imagination. You feel like you're on an adventure sometimes. Some books are not as entertaining as others, and I still value them very highly. But some books, you are in another world. You're not in your living room, and it's the best feeling ever. Great example, Project Hail Mary. I will recommend this book to anyone. If you ask me for a book recommendation, Project Hail Mary, bitch. It's not literary, it's not winning the Pulitzer Prize, but this book, by golly, it stuck with me. I loved the adventure. I read it in 2 days. I was sucked in. Who doesn't love that? I think books can be more exciting and addicting and enthralling than TV and movies sometimes, because it's your own imagination. You know, you're building it in your head. And I think how an author builds a story with language can build up excitement, build up tension in a way that a TV show can't. You know, thoughts going on in a character's head. You don't get those in TV shows. I love TV, I love movies, but there is something different about the excitement when you're reading a book and you can't put it down. The entertainment purpose of reading is also why, until my dying breath, I will defend audiobooks. Some people don't like audiobooks. Some people think it doesn't count as reading. Shame on you. Shame on you. You're telling me I can't listen to an audiobook, and if someone says, hey, have you read X? I have to say, no, I haven't. Oh, I listened to it though. Hello, that is crazy. Audiobooks are wonderful, and I think I have such a love for them because I love being read to. My mom read to me and my brothers when we were kids a lot. She read the Harry Potter novels, I remember specifically, and a lot of other little fantasy kids books, and my dad read the Nancy Drew books to me, and I've just been read to my whole life. Reading is entertainment, and it's entertaining to sit there with your eyes closed, picturing exactly what's going on, and it's just being fed to your brain from another source. You don't even have to do the effort of looking at the page. It's wonderful, my friend. If we're here to be entertained, don't poo-poo on audiobooks, baby. Okay, another reason I love to read is for the prose, baby. For the prose. The prose. The words. The construction. The diction. The vocab. Honestly, I love a beautifully constructed sentence. I love it. I love to read it. I love to highlight it. I love to think about it. I love to think, oh, dang. Oh, that was good. You can be describing the most basic feeling, love, but if you say it in an eloquent way, if you say it in a way that has never been said before, I'm blown away. I'm blown away. Mr. Darcy in Pride and Prejudice, I love a beautifully constructed sentence that is explaining a feeling so well that you feel it in your bones, that you say, I have never heard that before, but it strikes a chord with me. That is how that feeling was supposed to be described. Another example, Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason. Meg Mason does this amazingly. Every other sentence by this woman is a feeling that I can relate to, but I have never thought of before, or never known to express it before. I think about this book because of her prose. Also, I love to learn a word. I am building up that vocab, baby. I'm in the gym every day, doing reps, doing squats, building that vocab booty. Okay, what does that mean? What'd you just say? What does that mean? I don't want to ask. I want to know. I want to be smart. I want to be smart. And a little fact about me is I do write for a living. I don't write books. What I write is not very consequential, but I do write. Like sometimes I'm writing Instagram captions. But how I write is totally influenced by what I read. And I think that that's awesome. There was this period in my life, I was reading Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury, and I was so entranced by his way of constructing sentences that every Instagram caption I was writing was coming out as this grandiose, flowery, vivid, full of imagery description. And I was like, probably need to dial it back. Not necessary for this electronics company's Instagram, but it is always adding, you know? It's always adding to my knowledge of how things can be described. You can do these short, impactful, punchy sentences, or you can describe things in a flowing, eloquent, luxurious way. And it's so good to pick and choose, to be able to pick and choose, to influence your own thoughts, to influence the way you speak. Reading does it all, y'all. Reading really does it all. The last reason I love to read, and this one's a cute one, is because I like the act of reading. There is something so cozy and comforting about snuggling up in your comfy chair at home with your warm light and your warm cup of tea, or on an afternoon in a coffee shop, surrounded by bustling people. Or, you know what I'm trying to say. There is something so enjoyable about the actual act of opening a book and reading words on a page. It's a hobby. It's something that takes your time. So enjoying the actual act of doing it is part of it. Say you like to sew. You don't just like having the end product, or else you would go and buy clothes. You like the act of sewing. You like the act of constructing it, the physical act of pushing things through the sewing machine. You've got to kind of like that part. And I think readers love that part of reading. It's fun. And there's so many little ways to do it. You can read with a friend. You can read out loud to your partner. You can read in the middle of the night. You can read first thing in the morning to cleanse your mind and start your day. You can read on your phone or on your Kindle on a bus. I used to look forward to taking the bus because, I like that. I like sitting on a bus and reading. It feels kind of romantic, you know? Hey, I love to read. That's the end of this video. Thanks so much for watching, but I hope you liked this. And if you didn't like it, please like and subscribe so that you can leave me hate comments. I need them. I need the hate comments. I'm not in the algorithm right now, guys. Honestly, I should be saying some more controversial shit just so people will pay attention. Bye.